And the issue here is not only that we have a president who is a pathological liar, an authoritarian who wants more and more power in his own hands, somebody who undermines our Constitution every single day and the rule of law, but you have somebody who, allied with his oligarchic friends, has provided $1 trillion in tax breaks to the top 1%, while he threw 15 million people off the health care they desperately need. And it's not just what Trump is doing domestically. We have to take a deep breath and think about the kind of country we are and what we want to be. And that is to understand that in the middle of the night, some 2 months ago, Trump began a war that never should have happened, unprovoked war, by bombing Iran, assassinating its leadership, and killing many civilians. And that unnecessary, unprovoked war has led to the death of thousands of civilians in Iran, in Lebanon, in Israel, and elsewhere. That war is not only unconstitutional because he didn't have the authorization of Congress, it is an absolute violation of international law. When you have one nation, unprovoked, bombing another nation, you unleash international anarchy. What will the United States say if another country tomorrow bombs and attacks its neighbors or another country? What will be our response? What can we say? If the United States, unprovoked, can attack Iran, any other nation has a green light to do the same. And we have got to prevent that if this planet is going to survive. And let's be honest, when we talk about American foreign policy, the American people were lied to, and my generation experienced that. We were lied to about the war in Vietnam. 59,000 young men came home in body bags. We were lied to about the war in Iraq. And let us be clear, we are being lied to about this war in Iran. It has got to end immediately. Let me tell you where I think we are making some progress in foreign policy, and I know Senator Smith mentioned this a moment ago. The American people, whether they are progressives, moderates, conservatives, Democrats, Republicans, independents, do not believe that it is a very good idea for the United States taxpayers to be funding the military of a country which has engaged in genocide. Some of you may know, a number of months ago, we started the effort in the Senate to say no more U.S. military aid to Israel and its extremist Netanyahu government. When we started this thing, we had 11 votes. Pina was one of them. We then went up to 27 votes. And a couple of weeks ago, we went up to 40 votes, 80% of the Democratic caucus. And the reason for that is that the American people understand that at a time when we have so many problems, here at home that we've got a hell of a lot better things to do than to fund the Israeli military. In terms of the economy, as challenging as the moment is, I have some news for you to suggest that it may become even worse. Yeah, I'll tell you how. Great news, I know. But I'm going to get to the good news in a minute. Be patient. Going on for a little while. All right. Mr. Musk, Mr. Bezos, Mr. Zuckerberg, Mr. Ellison, Mr. Altman, and others, some of the wealthiest people in our country, are pushing AI and robotics extremely aggressively. What is the function of a robot? Give me it in one sentence. What is the function? Exactly. Not complicated. A robot is to replace human labor. Mr. Bezos, one of the wealthiest people in our country, is putting together a fund of $100 billion in order to automate factories. You know what that means in English? It means doing away with manufacturing jobs in America. You have AI right now is moving very, very aggressively, and many young college graduates who are looking for entry-level jobs are finding it harder and harder to find those jobs. Now, nobody knows exactly what happens, what the timeline is, but there are very serious economists who worry that in the next decade, we're talking about the loss of tens of millions of jobs. The issue is, with all of these things taking place, what do we do about it? Do we just sit back and allow a handful of the wealthiest people in this country run us over? And that is the answer. AI and robotics are not necessarily bad. They're not good, they're bad. It turns out it's how they are utilized. If they are utilized to benefit humanity, it's a good thing. But if they are used to throw millions of people out on the street because of job loss, that is not a good thing. If AI hooks our kids emotionally to some AI bot, that is not a good thing. If AI wipes out our privacy by accumulating all kinds of information about us, that is not a good thing. And what is certainly not a good thing, is, as some scientists fear, if AI becomes smarter than humans, and my wife reminds me that's a pretty low bar, what happens then? And there are some people, including former Nobel Prize winners, who worry that an AI independent of human control could do catastrophic things. All right? So I lay all of those things out to tell you that the country, and in fact the world, are facing enormous crises. But I am also going to tell you, based on some experience, that if we do not allow Trump and his friends to do what demagogues always do. What do demagogues always do? What is their game plan? Divide, exactly. See, they understand. And it's hard for us to keep up with Trump as to who we're supposed to hate tomorrow. I didn't see the paper today. I didn't know the latest group we're supposed to hate. But I gather we got undocumented we're hating China, we hate trans people, we hate Europe, we hate Mexico, we hate Canada. Anybody I forget that we hate? Greenland, I don't know, where you name it. And this is what demagogues always do. They divide us up because some of us came from another country. We have a different color skin. We speak another language. Our sexual orientation is different. That's what they do. And if they are successful in doing that, then the rich get richer and more powerful. That is their game plan, ain't complicated. Our game plan is exactly the opposite. I think Peggy mentioned it to you a moment ago. They have the money, unlimited sums of money. We have the people. And let me just give you some examples of what happens right now when people are prepared to roll up their sleeves, get to work, and make change. 6 months ago, a good friend of mine named Zoran Mamdani he ran for mayor of New York. When he started, he was at 1% in the polls. He was an assemblyman from New York State. Nobody knew who he was. But you know what he did? He did two things. Number one, he brought forward an agenda that addressed the real needs of the working class of New York. And number two, what he did is put together a grassroots mobilization of 100,000 volunteers prepared to knock on doors. So Mamdani took on the Democratic establishment. They wanted to beat him the worst way possible. Took on the Republican establishment. Took on the President of the United States. Took on the oligarchs who were prepared to spend as much money as they could. And you know what? He won that election with a good margin. A few weeks ago, a friend of mine, Analilia Mejia, many of you may not know who Analilia is. Analilia had worked on one of my presidential campaigns. She was a labor organizer. She was a grassroots activist. She decided to run for Congress in a district in New Jersey. Very few people knew who she was. But like Zoran, she put together a strong grassroots movement. She defeated the establishment. She is now a congresswoman from New Jersey.